Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Oh, it's great to have you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. So, it's good to know that we are here, and we would like to welcome everyone. Thanks for finding time to join. And we'll just go ahead to find out. Jennifer, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Oh. Yes, I'm here too.
Okay, actually, we have about 3 Jennifers here.
Oh, I got confused.
Okay, so I can hear the three Jennifers speaking. Okay, so I'm actually referring to Jennifer Enekebe and Jennifer Okafor. Okay, so I'm handing over to the two of you to go on with the meeting.
Hello? Hello? Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello, we can hear you.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, can you hear you? Good evening.
Good
Yeah, we
evening,
can
Good evening,
everyone.
we can hear you.
All right. This is for policy project management in global health. You are all welcome to today's session. It's going to be, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes,
going
yes,
to
we can
be-
hear you.
All right.
Yes, we
all
can
right.
hear you.
You are all welcome to this class. This is going to be an interactive section. Everyone is expected to share what he or she understands concerning the module 6, which is all about budget. So we are going to be taking that. It's just for us to know the agenda of what we have today, which is module 6 and of project management in global health. So you are all welcome. Now let's quickly move over to what we have for today. Welcome, everyone. Next slide, please. Okay, for module 6, the agenda for this session is, we just have this. One is what do you understand by risk management? What are the negative risks and the positive risks? What is budget? What budget is all about? We are going to talk about our experience. It's all about us sharing what we have experienced. You know, the project management is interactive, is a lifestyle, is what happens in our day-to-day life, what you do in your offices. How has it impacted? How do you handle project management? Since you started since you've been part of this course, what have you been able to understand? We are to name few things that we are to consider when making a budget. We are to know how a good manager should manage a project. We are to understand any other person. Is it only a financial manager that is supposed to handle a project, or are there any other person that can step in? Then questions and concerns. So these are the agenda we have for today. All right, next slide. Now, what do you understand by risk management? So I'm going to be throwing this question to everyone in the class. What do we understand by risk management? I believe we have all gone through the module 6, and we know that risk management is the first slide there for the budget for week 6. So I want us to, if you know what you understand, what do you understand? What do you think? Okay, someone is already raising up. Ozioma Aja. Okay. Ozioma Aja, can you talk to us, please? Ozioma Aja, are you raising your hand? Okay, can anyone share with us what he or she understands by risk management?
Yeah, sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Just tell us your name and the group you belong to.
Yeah, my name is Sidika, and risk management is a process. It's like identifying, and trying to assess. Someone's mic is on and it's someone's mic is on and is obstructing. Hello, can you hear me now? Okay, my name is Sidika and I'm under Delta Group. Yeah, so risk management has to deal with the process of identifying and assessing threats that might affect a project, and trying to find a way to control them. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just finished, but I wasn't receiving any response. I said, my name is Sidika, and I'm from Delta Group.
Hi, Shika. Okay, so thank you so much for starting off. Does anyone else have anything to add to what she?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
I think Jennifer should go first. Her hand came up first. So Jennifer, please. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer Kate.
Okay. Yeah, good evening. So risk management is more like a process of trying to control dangers that can happen to an organization. That's after you would have identified it and assessed the measure the impact can actually have negative in an organization.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
can you hear
Okay,
me?
yes, that's a good addition too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hello, can I say something?
Hi, is your hand up?
Can I continue?
Hi, so who's speaking? Because I can't really see.
Ahmed Musa.
Hello.
Okay, Ahmed Musa, sorry, there's a few hands before yours.
Okay.
Maybe let's see. Can iPad speak? Or is it possible to change your name so that I can reflect your real name? So we don't call you funny names. So the person with the name
It's Hilda K. You are from Delta Group. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hello? Okay. So to me, what I understand about risk management in this module 6 is the shortfalls, the difficulties that one would expect in planning a project, and then being ready to handle them when they come. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm done with my point. The shortfalls, like I said, that one will expect that may come during your project, the process of the project, and then your ability to manage or curtail them to be able to carry out the project as planned. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, so I've said what I wanted to say.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Should I speak?
Like I said, yes, like I said before. Hello?
Please, if you have said something, you should allow others to talk. Okay. Someone was just saying, like I've said before, just allow other participants to express themselves.
Can
Okay?
I express myself now?
All right, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm Keneshko
You're welcome.
Dozier. I understand risk management as a method, or you say a process of identification, evaluation, and prioritization of risk. In a situation whereby you monitor like identification, like I said, evaluation and prioritization of to minimize, monitor or control those factors that affects a project. You understand? A project that is actually in place, you try to manage and control it for effective, or for positive deliverables to achieve your deliverables. That's my own understanding of risk management.
Can we move over to the next slide, please? Thank you very much for that. That's a very strong concept of risk management. I'm very happy. This shows that we have really done our work concerning this module 6 on risk management and budget. So next slide, please. Please just hold on. The next slide. No, you can go back. The second slide. Yes. Now, one of our speaker mentioned the negative risks and also the positive risks, and that brought us to the second slide. Can we mention what we understand as the negative risks and positive risks? Can someone give a description of the difference between negative risks and positive risks? What do you understand by negative and positive risks? Okay.
Okay, so to my own understanding, I'm Esther Ogba.
Okay, what's your group?
Delta.
All right, go ahead, please.
A negative risk could be a risk that will impact the project in a bad way. A risk that could maybe bring the project to an end. But a positive risk could be that risk that is a risk, but at the end of the day, it's not going to actually like stop the project or it will not, the impact on the project will not be as bad as that of a negative risk. That's my understanding.
Does any other person have something to add to that?
Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Abdul Rashid from Beta Group.
Okay.
In a negative risk could just be a harm that can lead to ending a project. It's just simply harm. While a positive risk can just be somebody grabbing a certain opportunity just for something to come and you grab the opportunity to achieve something in a project.
Exactly, opportunities.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Now, what is a budget? Having understood what risk management is all about, the positive and the negative risks, the impact they can have in our project, how the positive risks is all about the opportunities that can bring the project to a successful end and help us to achieve our indicators and deliverables. Now, can we all tell us what a budget is? Oh, can we all mute our mic, please? Can everyone mute your mic?
Hey, this Zoom now.
What is a budget?
Please, I
Hello.
will beg if the admin could help us mute.
Àní mo mú dání mi ìbọ́lẹ̀ ń bọ́ stop níbi tí mo fẹ́ ra torchlight. Mọ́tò tó gbé mi bẹ́ẹ̀ gan.
Please, can we all mute our mics, please? Thank you.
Mama, I had this over. I don't know if I can continue.
My name is Dixon. Can I answer? Can I
Go
say
ahead,
something
please,
about the budget?
Mr. Dixon.
Dixon,
Can you go ahead,
yes.
please?
Yeah, hi everyone. What I understand about the budget is all expenditure that is anticipated in the project and how we intend to spend it. That is what I understand about the budget. It's about the anticipation. We have to sit down and think through everything and write it down in very detailed form so that we have no surprises in terms of finances during the project. That's my understanding.
Of course. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon. Does any other person have something to add? Tell us more on budgets.
Yeah, can I add something?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Amos, and Amos Anywangi. I'm from the Abuja group.
Okay.
He has said everything. Budget just describe the amount of money that a project plan to spend over a period of time. So you try to understand the kind of expenditure that you would like to make in the course of the project implementation. And those activities are being detailed down and quantified based by money, how it's going to be spent. So that's my understanding about project and budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So budget is, thank you very much. That's a good point. It's just all about having an estimate of an accurate ideal cost of what your project is all about so that you avoid under budgeting or over budgeting, which will have a negative effect on your project if it's not properly planned. So next slide, please. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Okay, now at this moment, let me hand over to Jenny E so that she can continue on this slide. Thank you all. Jennifer, are you there? Jennifer, are you there?
I think go ahead with this slide. When she comes, you take over.
Okay. Have there now? I want to ask us. This question is actually for everyone here. Have you had any experience in your office, in some consultancy, in one or two things you have done towards preparing a budget? Have you been opportune or been participated in a team that have had a thing or two to do with preparation of a budget? Can you share your experience with us? Just 1 minute. Tell us your experience when it comes to preparing a budget. Okay.
Hello, can I say?
Go ahead.
Can I
please.
talk? Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, I've had an experience when I was the
Tell
acting
us your
regional
name,
manager.
sir.
My name is Iredumora Chukuma.
Okay.
I've had an experience when I was the acting regional manager. I was asked to prepare a budget for the region. Well, it was a bit taxing because more or less during our meeting, we proposed to have an additional 3 staff and also increase the premium for that year. So what we had to do was it was a projected budget which we had to submit, definitely, because the finance team will also look at the budget and see if it is feasible or not based on the previous year budget, because while preparing a new budget, you also have to put into cognizance the previous budget you had for the previous year, even though there will be certain attritions, yes, to it. So I've had an experience with that.
Wow, that's a very strong one. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Someone is raising here.
Can I say something?
Hello, can I say something? I've been raising my hand since, please.
Ralph. So Osam. Go ahead.
Yes, that's me here.
Go
Good evening,
ahead,
all.
please.
My name is Raphael Abaliki, and I'm speaking from Abeokuta, Ogun State. Yes, on the budget, on this experience of budget, I've actually had experience in that in the area where we had to create a budget for a survey.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
We wanted to carry out in Niger State. Know what about device that will be just in case the device gets missing, they can also go back to that device and get, if their phone gets missing, they can go back to the device and retrieve information which have been stored there. So we're supposed to create a budget for the survey in Mina, and it was practically in Boso, where the university is. So we actually did the budget because we were supposed to recruit like 14 persons. So the budget was supposed to cover for their accommodation, cover for their feeding, cover for the transportation. And I've never had any experience though on doing budgeting, but I think we did pretty well. But I think the budget was a little bit overshot because we didn't want to run into any problem of not being able to pay or meet.
Right. Thank you so Ralph for your experience. Sorry, I logged out. I had some technical issues. I'm back right now. It's important not to overshoot your budget when you're planning a budget. That's one thing you need to keep in mind. So, Olad, I think your hand is up. Can you?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Oladmeji Solomon Yemi. I'm from the Alpha Group. I would like to share my perspective about budget in 2 ways. I've had several encounters developing a budget, and part of my experience developing a budget. In most times, there are times that I've tried developing a budget for a project that is just starting up, and most of the time, it's startup projects that you are yet to start implementing, and you're developing a budget for that kind of project. The kind of challenges that I've experienced in budgeting like that, it's either the budget is short, or you overshoot the budget, or peradventure some things happen along the way and you are not able to really budget very well because you have not implemented that particular project before. Let's say, for example, pre-COVID, there was a proposal that I developed and I developed a budget for it, and the proposal was not approved until during the pandemic. Because of the issues and challenges of the pandemic, the budget has to be cut. So to about 50%. So a lot of things that were already in the budget, we couldn't do it anymore because the budget had been cut due to the pandemic. That's one perspective. Then the other perspective I've also had about budgeting, it's a recurring budget based on a project that is already running, and probably maybe it's a 2-year project. So you implemented the project for 1 year, and you are going on the second year, you have to develop a budget for the second year. So in this kind of budget, the kind of challenges I've encountered is that most times the funder might decide to reduce funding, probably because you have achieved a lot of your targets. You are now reducing the funding to channel the funding towards a non-performing target. So in this kind of issues, most challenges that occur is that you tend not to be able to really go by what you have budgeted for, and probably maybe, for example, you have in your budget to employ 10 staffs or to implement in 10 LGAs. You now see that you have to now cut your budget. So that's just the experience I've had so far about budgets. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That was quite wholesome. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll take the remaining 3 hands that are up to the next discussion point. Somehow you guys are actually dabbling into the next discussion point, but no problems. Let's just continue. Babatunde, your hand is up, please. Hi, your voice is a bit low.
Okay, can you hear me? Good evening.
Very good. Yes, good evening.
Okay, so I manage one integrated grant presently, which is very huge from international donor. So the budgeting we do is from the inception period. Say, for instance, a program that is to commence by January this is August. This is the period through which we prepare the budget. So the development of budget commences now, and it takes a couple of months because it's a national project. So it encompasses a lot of factors that we have to consider while developing the budget. So this particular budget, after developing as an implementer, there are different stages that it passed through from the angle of the donor, whereby you have to defend every component of the budget, the HR, the implementation, the operational cost, and a whole lot. So the common experience, which is more or less a challenge, is that while you are defending these budgets, the other entities that you are implementing with, say the partners like sub-recipients and other partners, they are not privy to be in this process of the defense, whereby the donor, when you are presenting this to them, and like, oh no, this is not acceptable, this is not justifiable, this assumption is not qualitative enough. So you experience this kind of thing, which eventually might result into the reduction of the budgets of the cost input that you've made. So when such budget is finalized and being sent back by the donor, you are sharing with implementers, you tend to face a lot of criticism or being the middleman, you've cut our budget, you've done this, you've done that, which unfortunately is one critical part which was discussed earlier in terms of communication. In communication, there are certain things which are, yes, it's a public information, but due to the level at which we operate, you might not be opportune to like open up everything. So it's one of the critical experience that you experience from budget developments, which I think as a project manager, you should always be ready to like absorb and see that it's part of what makes you to fit the position you are occupying. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. Okay, so we'll take the remaining two hands and I'll read comments which are in the chat box. Okay, so please forgive me if I pronounce your name wrongly. Atun Anya Ogugwa.
Hello, good evening. No? Can you hear me? It's Atuanya, not Atunanya. There's no end there.
I don't know.
Hello?
Sorry?
I said it's Atuanya.
Okay. Oh, so sorry.
No problem. I know you are apologizing. I just want to the experience I've
please tell us
okay, Delta from. Okay, from Abakaliki, Ebonyi State.
Okay, thank you.
The experience I've had with budgeting was when I was at the bank. You know, I was just acting as acting branch manager. The branch manager was on leave, so I was asked to sit in for him. And lo and behold, they brought a budget for someone that had never done it before. So what I did was to go and ask the regional man just to explain what I should do, and he really did. I had to start getting input from this end. Who is due for promotion? Who is due for this? Do we have repairs? Or do we have need of cash? So from there, I gained experience to know that you have to put a lot of things into it. You know, are we recruiting new people? And then you also add the inflation rate and also the miscellaneous to it, and a lot of things, you know. So that's part of one experience I got. And right now, I'm working with an NGO in Ebonyi now. And since yesterday, since last week, we've been doing to and fro budget, M&E aspect of it, you know, in data collection. You know, we're thinking of how do we do this thing, what step. And, you know, all of a sudden, somebody now mentioned, Mary Rose, can this be sustained? So also put into consideration sustainability of some things when you're doing budgeting and stuff like that, you know. So that's what I've learned, and that's my own experience, and I'm getting more from this project, from this program. Thank you all.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for your contribution. Okay, one more hand, Jennifer K. Toure.
Okay, I am Jennifer Toure from Gamma Group. Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear? Okay. Jennifer Toure from Gamma Group. My experience with handling the budget wasn't pleasant because I ended up losing my money. Now we had a project, so I was supposed to organize like an end of year get together for a group of people. And because I was used to cooking and then I just had the amount, I just felt it was going to be enough for whatever it is we wanted to do. So we just ended up saying, okay, every family should contribute like 10,000 naira each. And with the wholesome amount, we could be able to have a good time. You know, I haven't listed all the things we needed to do. But at the end of it, I realized that because I didn't do the right, I didn't get the right estimate for the budget. I ended up losing my money because I wanted the project to be successful, you know, and then we under budgeted for the program. I ended up adding my money to ensure that it was a success. Since then, I refused doing any budget or writing any budget for anybody because I don't plan to lose my money again, you know. So, but with this now, I understand that you can never know too much to even say that you won't sit down to draft out the budget to know the exact things you need at the cost and everything, you know. So that's my own experience. It wasn't a good one for just that little project.
Yeah, Jennifer, it's very tough. And I don't think there's anyone here that can say they have never made a budget, because like you mentioned, budget is basically estimating how much you spend on an activity or something. I'm sure everybody in their life has made a budget, whether it's for a project or personal shopping. But I know women, when they go shopping in the market, they make a budget for what they'll buy. And sometimes it's not exactly what they write on a budget, and the prices of goods may actually be higher than what they are budgeted. So yeah, there are always kind of instances. Okay, so I'll this last hand before I start reading the comments in the chat box. So Victor, please, you have the floor. Hello, Victor. Are you ready for us? Victor Oshiole. Okay, so let me take some of the comments in the chat box. I don't know if they were read before. I have a comment from Esther. She says, this is the amount of money that a project plans to spend over a given period. Iroka and Chibueze says that I have some experience in project preparation. Let me see. The next one is also says, hello once again, I'm Chipping also. Yes, I've had several opportunities to prepare a budget. It's enlightening to know that budget gives an estimate which may have a totally different scenario in reality. That's very true. Sylvester says, through budget, project managers can determine the availability of funds and how best to use the available funds to complete the project. Our country says, in my experience with budgeting, determining reasonable costs of budget items was most challenging. That is always true for everybody. Olumide says, as a co-investor for the evaluation of an humanitarian intervention, please mute your mic if you're not speaking, please. I worked with the PI in developing the evaluation budget. The evaluation was designed to use a mixed method approach. So I had to ensure there were line items for the component of the evaluation, namely transcription, data coding, and analysis. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Ozioma says, my experience in zero budgets where all items or information are relevant and is time consuming. and a lot of arguments, although it makes project managers to know work functions of the departments. Abola says, my experience with budgeting was when we had to plan towards the festive period in an office. Sorry, please. Oh, we had to plan towards the festive period in an office for the year. Lots of delayed affected the budget plan, whereby we had to cut lots of things out and made do with what was available at the time. Sylvester Atta says, forgotten items in budgeting can become a challenge. This has happened to me in the past, and I'm glad it is emphasized in this module. Forgotten items can throw you into a situation where you had to seek for approval to spend from line items. DRC says, I haven't had a practical experience. Okay. Tolu say, okay, sorry. Fatima Saleh says, same with
Which one
me.
you want? This one. You want that one? Yeah. Carry the line on there.
Hey, please, can you,
Is it
can you not
complete?
mute
Sorry,
our
can you
mic?
please mute
Okay,
your mic
it's
if you're
remaining
not
30.
speaking? We can hear you
How much did I
deciding
pay?
what you want.
7. Okay, sorry. Don't mind me. Was in a call. Take.
Please mute your mic if you're not speaking.
No,
Share what you're giving out
Okay,
to
it's fine.
everybody.
All right. All right. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so Fatima says, say with me, this assignment and module 6 is my first experience with budgeting. Abola says, some budgets. So budget come with lots of challenges. Joker says, recently I was to prepare a budget for a needs assessment for a proposal, which I did. Unfortunately, it was beyond the amount the donor intended to send. We eventually set the budget stating justifications for the amount needed, and it was approved. Zainab says, good evening, everyone. I am Zainab Husseina Abdullah, Delta Group. Just joined in. I had serious network issues due to rainfall in my degree. I think the rain just came to Abuja. I have never had an experience in any organizational budget, but I was able to budget for home, usually done by the end of the month. It took me till date to have a perfect budget. I hope with my knowledge in this module, I'll do better. Anita says, I think if there's enough time for your activity to be implemented, there will be time to do adjustments to our budget in order to suit and accommodate your activity. Ibijoke also says, my name is Ibijoke Kappa Group. Sorry, my message just shifted up. Kappa Group. I was prepared a budget for a needs assessment for a proposal, which I did. Unfortunately, it was beyond the amount the donor intended to send. We eventually sent the budget stating justification for the amount needed, and it was approved. That's good. Engineer Omaka says, my experience in project preparation, you must have all the necessary data in the course of the budget for a particular project to be successful. Finally, Jones says, to prepare a budget,
hello, Jennifer. I think we might not really take call
With the end. Okay, fine. So about Jones, I'll continue from Patient Michaels when we move on to the next slide. To me, preparing, but a budget has been cool. Cool experience. Once you can identify the direct and indirect cost of the activity involved, then a budget can be prepared in the case. Can you all hear me very well? Okay, I think I need to close my windows. So Jennifer, please help me a bit. Let me coordinate the next slide, please. I'll come back. Let me close my windows because of the rain.
All right, Oshiole Victor, can you please, you've been raising your hand, can you say something? Victor, Mr. Victor, are you there? Hello, Victor, are you there? Okay, so now this next slide is for us. Can we name from few things we have to consider when making a budget? What are the things from our experience, from what we have all understood so far from Module 6 on budget? What are the things that you think that we have to consider when making a budget? Okay.
Yeah, hello, can I
ahead, please.
talk? This is Dixon, Kappa Group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just go back a little bit on the past question. Yes, I've had a few experiences in making budget, but I must say that I have always handled my budget in a very, very unstructured form, and this Module 6 has given me plenty of light into how to structure it, and it wasn't easy. There was plenty of detail to handle. Now I have learned, it is what I've always do, but like I say, it has put it to me in a very structured form that you have to consider what you will do, how you will do it, and who you do it, and who will do it before you go on to estimating the budget. I think this is a very formal lesson that I have learned, and I think I will not forget, because it shed plenty of light to helping me ameliorate what I have been able to do with budgets. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon, for that. Someone said, yes, sir, someone said that we have to, some of the things that we have to consider, that's from Ben. Mr. Ben said we have to consider the human resources, material, the running costs. Okay. And I can see a question here. Are risks and assumptions the same? If they are not, what is the difference? Okay, can we all answer this question?
Please take the question again.
Okay, let me take the question again, please. Are risks and assumptions the same? If they are not, then what is the difference? Trying to ask whether risks and assumptions are the same thing. Then if they are not the same thing, and what is the difference?
Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead, please.
I won't say yes and I won't say no, but it depends on the context of the discussion. It can be the same, it might not be. However, let me just say that you can take a risk that at the end of the day, if it's not a well-calculated risk, your assumption can make you take a risk that at the end of the day, you find that it's not a well-calculated risk. So in that scenario, one can describe it as the same. Then you may not assume and you do something. And how do I put it? You might decide to do something that you're not really, completely familiar with. You're not assuming, but it's something that has to be done, but you don't have a proper understanding of it. That's a risk you're taking.
That's right.
So, but for this person who put this question, if you understand the context with which he's coming from, you can be in the best position to say whether or not they are the same. It can be the same, but it depends on the context, not in every context. So it can be the same, it might not be the same, but it depends on the context from where you're analyzing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hello, can I say something here?
Go ahead, Ma.
Yeah, my own answer is to your question on things to consider when making a budget.
Okay.
And I will take it from the three items of allocable, allowable, and reasonability of cost. So when we are making our budget, we must ensure that the cost is allowable from the donor perspective, and also allocable, and the cost is reasonable, looking at the market cost of item. So those are the three items I am considering if I'm making my budget, and from my experience, and even from audit point of view too. Thank you.
All right.
I'm raising my hand.
Can we all mute our mic, please? Okay, you can go ahead, please. This is the last one. Thank you very much for the previous
All right. In addition to what our sister just said, she said everything. Like my own response in the chat, I haven't had a practical experience, but from what this module has taught me, I can say that we should not neglect the fact to consider our income structure, because without an income, there is no budgeting. You must have plan of expecting income to come from somewhere, not just once, a sustainable income. Even if it is once, if there is no expectation of income from anywhere, you cannot go budgeting. So for you to go budgeting, you must have in mind that, okay, I'm expecting income to come from a particular location. So income structure is one major factor to consider. When that is in place, you go ahead with your budget, then you consider allocable and other stuff that my sister mentioned. So income structure is something very important, because when there's no income, you are not budget, you have no reason to budget. If you're not going to get money, you have no, well, you should budget and expect money, but before you start implementing whatever has been budgeted, that means there is an income. So income structure should be considered.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Now, from the chat, thank you very much for that. From the chat, Mr. Chikezie Emeka said that the important things to consider are: I make sure I don't over budget or under budget. M&E should not be more than 10% of the budget. Each item should not be more than 5% of the budget. Okay. And another person from Akwi Belinda said, the three things I can consider is to make sure I don't over or under budget. Someone have already said that. Thank you very much. Fatima Abubakar said, things to consider includes inflation rate, creating a balance between overspending and underspending, and also identifying when spending is critical. Okay, Ozioma Aja said that she is going to consider resources and plan, while Evelyn Ndale Osai said she's going to consider she should be factored into the 5% budget. Then Ojon Emmanuel said the income structure is very important when making a budget. That's right. That's right. Then lastly, Carl Gui Njua said, sorry for that. Don't over budget nor under budget. Think of unforeseen circumstances. Thank you. This unforeseen circumstances is very important. It can be linked to external factors. For example, I believe we all have one way or the other that COVID-19 have impacted us in our family, in our lifestyle, in some of the projects. Some of us have. Okay, let me use myself as an example. I have been in a project in the field on a yellow fever immunization in one of the LGAs that I'm to facilitate. And What I understood was because of the outbreak of the COVID-19, which was not planned, we were called to come back. Everybody was sent back, and that project it came to a halt. Why? Because of some of the unforeseen external factors beyond our control. So this is very important when making a budget. You also plan for these things, because I know that most of us, if we can be allowed to speak, did not expect what happened in the area of COVID-19 and all that. So thank you very much for your contribution. I'm seeing your hand, but I'm going to give you time, please. Let's just take the next slide. Then we can now give ourselves time to talk. Okay, please. Thank you very much. So next slide, please. Okay, Jennifer, are you there?
Hi, John. Yes, I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay,
Yes.
you can go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer. All
You're
right.
welcome,
So I enjoyed like listening to everyone's contributions and what everyone had to say. So now this question we're asking, do you think if the budget making process should be the responsibility of the finance manager alone? That's one. The second part of the question is, who else do you think is important in making the budget? Okay. So do we continue from where the hands I see up? I think there are 4 hands up. So Victor Oshole. Hello, Victor, can you hear us? Okay, so maybe he's having some network issues. So let's go to Babatunde Owolabi.
Hello, once again. The first question, should budget making be responsibility of finance manager? Is absolutely no. Because the budget making is a teamwork. It entails all the components, all the units on the project, be it program, be it procurement, be it monitoring and evaluation. Because everybody, as it applicable to your unit, you can give the adequate information required for implementation of particular specific activity that related to your unit. So finance manager can only be the one to consolidate the input of everyone, but it's a teamwork. It's never finance manager responsibility alone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any comments contrary to what he said? Does anyone think the finance manager should do it alone by himself?
I think he has said it all, nothing to be added.
I think, okay, thank you. I think everyone will agree with what he's saying. So let's move on to the next question. Sorry. Okay, so okay. Yeah, I think that's basically our last question. So now, does anyone have any questions or any other concerns or comments they want to say? I think now we'll have the floor open for everybody. Okay, so continuing to my raised hands, I have Oladimeji Solomon.
Okay, the question I can say I have is just that in budgeting or in as a project manager, I have once been in a situation where a budget was developed for a particular project, and the budget, the donor made it specifically made it known that the budget is cast in stone, that the budget cannot be changed throughout the entire project cycle. So the project commenced, and there were some things that happened along the way. So when I mean things happened along the way, there were some budget shortcomings and so many other things. So the question is, in a situation where the budget is cast in stone and that has been specified right from the inception of the project, and there's an issue along the way with the budget whereby probably there are shortcomings in the budget, or the budget is not performing well, what can I do as a project manager in such situation?
All right, does anyone have an answer for him? What do you think Do you understand the question he asked? Because this is actually a very concerning thing. You will set up a budget. You have a budget to implement an activity, and you feel the project is cast in stone, as he said. Along the line, things don't go out the way you think you plan. Maybe the costs of things are higher than what your budget says. So what do you do in such a situation? Does anyone have any experience or what they have done that they can throw more light here for us?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, you're not the first this kind of thing has happened to. This is where the scope of the budget comes into play, because this is something that is beyond your capability. So the scope of the budget might have changed. That's made it affect the budget. So what you do in that case is you have to reach out to your donor and inform them. Then they will tell you on your next line of action the best thing to do, because I won't say I've had a direct experience, but I've been in an organization where such thing happened, and that was exactly what they did. Now, it's not your fault. For example, the inflation of the currency is not your fault. For example, if you plan with $1,000 and the way the currency fluctuates in Nigeria, it's not your fault. So when you escalate such to your donor, they can inform you whether to rewrite the budget, or if the program or project is supposed to be a one-year project, they can ask you to now reduce it to 8 months, or they can ask you to request for an additional funding. In that case, you will have to write and write a new proposal to justify the request for additional funding to augment what has been given. So it's an extenuating circumstance that is beyond your ability. So that can be understandable. Anybody funding your project will understand, and they are in the best position to tell you what to do. The scope of the project has been affected by virtue of that. So they either increase the funding or reduce the length of the program so that the money can go in and augment for where there's shortage. I think those are just the only thing that can happen in such a condition.
Yes, thank you so much for that. That's actually quite true. I know I've had experience in my own where I work, situations where we have a budget for something, and let's say we have to buy flight tickets for people, and initially flights was 62,000 naira. That's to and fro, and then 20,000 naira for airport taxi. But if you can remember, like last year, towards the December period, how much for flight tickets one way trip to a place you normally go for 20,000 naira from Abuja to Lagos became as high as 80,000 naira. So we had a big situation. We had to write back to our donor to now find funds within other budget lines to reprogram for us to be able to use it to implement our activities. So this happens every time, and really it's not the fault of the person that makes the budget, because you don't control the value of the naira, you don't control the flight prices, you don't control several other things. So you do what you can do, and whatever else is outside your control, you have to write back to the donor to make sure that he's aware, and also for plans for a solution to come out for you. So I like to say we're about rounding up. So we're taking these last four hands, and a few comments in a chat box before we close. So Hadiza, please try and keep your comments quick so that we can at least all go. It's already past 9 o'clock now, so we have other things to do. We need to prepare for Monday.
Yes.
All right,
So
Hadiza,
just
please.
30 seconds, please. Go ahead.
Hadiza, are you still wait? You want to ask your question, or you dropped your hand? Dropping their hands. Okay, Babatunde, your hand is up.
Hello.
Hello, Babatunde, do you have something to say to us?
Okay, yeah. So based on this particular discussion, the donors now based on the situation in the country and the scope of the project, we know that things like this are inevitable. So some of the donors are giving room for such, whereby it is not all the time that you have to write to them. There is something we call reprogramming, whereby when you identify savings from one particular activity you have to do, but you couldn't exhaust all the budget, such money is allowed to be reprogrammed into such discrepancies that occur. And at the end of the day, you are still within the scope of your budget. So it's one of the tools that donors are currently exploring. Did you hear me, please? Hello?
All right, thank you so much for that. Yes, we heard you. Thank you. That was a great contribution. Okay, so a few more comments. Jennifer, I don't know where you stopped off.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, so where did you stop reading? I don't know where you stopped. Can I take a few comments?
Okay, let's take the few comments from, let's just start from Ibrahim Yahaya. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we
all
can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Ibrahim Yahaya said budget should be.
Yes, we can hear you, Jen.
Okay, he said budget should be the responsibility of all. Then Mamohao Mokhoto, pardon me, please, he says not only the finance manager who should be responsible for budgeting, even the project manager is responsible. Okay. Engineer Omaka Chukwu Oko says no, he has just said it all. It's the responsibility of all the major stakeholders to make input. Okay. This one is from Patience Michaels. She said budgeting should not only be done by the finance manager, team leads should also be involved in the budget planning. Okay. Now, Amand Name said it is the responsibility of all members. Then Udezulibo Ekene said budget should not be the finance work alone. I believe he wants to say the finance managers work alone, that the administrative body should be involved too. Okay, that's right. Then El Tasu said the other project stakeholders and the team are also responsible. I personally do not have experience in budgeting. This model is my first experience. Okay, welcome on board. Then Amola Olubunmi said budgeting shouldn't be done by the finance manager alone. Budgeting responsibility should include the procurement, the human resources, M&E personnel, also the budget manager. So it's teamwork which leads to proper and effective plan towards achieving great success. Okay, Hadiza Salele. Apologies again. Okay, that's okay. It's okay. Then Carl Gray Njumwa said, sorry for that. He said it should be a whole team. He may be blindsided from other aspects of the project in which he is not a technician. The project manager, the logistics department, human resource department, communications, technical director, etc. They are all involved. Then Jonathan says, budget should include all stakeholders during budget preparation. Then Hadiza Salele lastly said it is important to know the type of risk. It can be financial risk, reputation risks, security risks, etc. and develop mitigation plans. That's how to control those risks. All right. Thank you all for your contributions. Thank you for availing yourself to be here in this class. I believe we have all had our wonderful deliberations, and we are going to inform everyone once again on our next Zoom meetings. Thank you for coming out. This is massive. It's as if everybody made themselves available, and we are very, very grateful for all the contributions, and I believe we have all learned from each other. So Jenny, do you have something to add to them before we go?
No, let's just say thank you so much, everyone, for coming out this night. Thank you for your time, and let's continue the good work, and let's continue working on our project management. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the course, and hope you enjoy your evening too. All right. Good night, everybody. Over
Thank
to
you very
Jennifer.
much.
Yeah, good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We are
Good
very
night.
grateful.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you
Good
for your
night.
time.
Bye-bye.
Good
Thank
night.
you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
DRC.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night.
Amos, Hassan, Ido,
Bye.
all of you, Musa, Jennifer Ture,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
Jennifer Ture, Jennifer
Bye.
Ture.
Bye,
Thank you
Jennifer,
so much.
everyone.
Bye.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
Jennifer, can you stay back?
Okay.
Okay, goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Yes.
everyone.
Please, can you stay back? Let's just discuss.
It's all okay.
Nekebe, are you? You have a lot of work to do.
I actually have to run out to go to another meeting, Sha, but no, I'll stay back.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's log off. Let me call you. Let me just call you on phone. Let's just stop.
Okay.
All right.
No
All right.
problem.
All right.